Thanks for checking out SYMFONI on YouTube. Please be sure to subscribe and like our videos for updates.
Now, I can't be with you. I have to give it special attention. I should round up. I have to give it special attention, and that is the rising increase of internet fraud. This is a huge problem that we have. Almost every other day we are arresting them. From January to the 11th, 10th of June 2021, we have arrested 1,502 internet fraudsters across the length and breadth of this country. On Monday that the courts resume, across the length and breadth, we are attempting to file, close to about 800 cases of this in nature. It's a serious problem that we are working tirelessly towards curtailing. We are working with the state governments that we have identified to be more vulnerable to this. It's something that our parents, our institutions, we the elders, we have to be talking to one another. It is tarnishing the image of this country. They are doing it on a daily basis. They are feeling that it's just another way of getting extra income, which is worrisome, to us. Here is operations that we have done. Incidentally, again, the age group, if you look at the graphical presentation that we have here, the chunk of the people that are dealing, the young boys that are dealing with this, are between the ages of 25 and 34, in their active life. Coincidentally, I'm one of them, being a young man, and people from my constituency are the ones doing this. We'll continue to talk to them and all of that. We have the types of fraud that they are doing. They are into dating scam, picking, check scam, hacking, credit card scam, issues that you know and aware of. The commission is focused on these cyber criminals, continue to carry out sustained public enlightenment campaign, taking the fight to their enclave, and collaboration with our partners, particularly the media. We need your assistance here more than ever. Please, all the correspondents that of your various media organizations that are covering anti-corruption or financial crimes, please be coming to our offices so that we'll be telling you some of these things, and then you will be sustaining, the campaign, or against these criminals. And of course, as I have said in different time during this presentation, there is of course a paradigm shift on this. We are building a tactical operational center, that will solely focus on dealing with these issues of cybercrime. I've told you also that we have created a department of intelligence that is expected to gather intel on this. We have arrested quite a number of people and prosecuted quite a number of people within this period. We have secured 185 convictions within the period under review, and of course you are aware that for 2 months, we have been on strike. We have filed 367 cases. As I said, within this week, we are going to file at least 800 cases in court, on public corruption as well as, cybercrime. All the known politically exposed cases that you are aware of that are in court, are still in court, and we are vigorously, and diligently going to sustain their prosecution. Yesterday, you have all reported it. We succeeded in securing the conviction of a former managing director of a bank, Francis Atuche. He was sentenced to 6 years imprisonment on all the 21 count charges out of the 27. Of course, to run concurrently. It involves about 27 billion, naira. We have been prosecuting that matter from the 16th of October 2009 judgment was only given yesterday. We are determined, to continue to prosecute no matter how long it takes and no matter the amount of resources that is involved. And that is why we in the law enforcement, we say it time and time again, that there is no budget in law enforcement, because you never can tell where it can take you. It can take you to the, 6 continents of the world and back. Yeah, and you have to prove your case beyond reasonable doubt. So also the issue of prosecution. It can take you 1 year, it can take you 2 years, it can take you several years. Cases of Amuson is ongoing, Shema, Lawakala, or Hakim, Muazu, Orji, Uzor, Kalu, we are going to prosecute him again all over, after 12 years of that, etc. The names are here, including this. Finally, let me conclude that the vision that is rapidly taking shape in the EFCC of today is that of a world-class, responsive, and responsible law enforcement agency with consideration of professionalism, integrity, transparency, and accountability. The new EFCC is harnessing the skills of its well-trained and motivated workforce, leveraging on the support of every stakeholder and partner, both at home and abroad, to deliver on the vision of a Nigeria free of all forms of economic and financial crimes. Nigeria is the only country we have. We are the ones to salvage it. Of course, we need the support of everybody, home and abroad. Please don't cross the line. And do remember that if you are not one of us that wants to take Nigeria to its promised land, the EFCC will get you anywhere, anytime. Thank you very much.
Direct Public Affairs for the Commission.
Gentlemen and ladies of the press, I'm going to answer, even though 5 individuals asked questions, but I think it's about 15 or 20 questions. But all the issues will be answered. My elder brother here did not mention from which station.
My name is Abdulrasheed Bawa. I am a publisher of the
Bridge News. Okay. Okay, you asked about the 6 billion on earth. You want me to start media trial? There's a term that the Nigerians coined. They call it media trial. I was trying to tell you that the department that we have created have already started yielding positive impact, in the sense that they have unearthed this. Now, it's suspicious, allegations, you understand? We are suspecting that this is it. Yes, we have seen that, yes, there is this, but investigation will have to be conducted. You understand? We have to satisfy ourselves that there is a prima facie case. And then, of course, Nigerians will get to know which state is that, the individuals that are involved, etc., etc. I have tried to give you some of the latest things and happenings that has happened with that department. And while doing that, I now gave you an example of what they have unearthed. So it is not the right time, Oga Bridge News, for me to tell you, who that person is. The second question that you asked has to do with the issue of the 37.5 million US dollars. And I think my new friend from the Sun also asked a similar thing. So I'm going to answer is it Tribune? Yes. Okay. I'm going to answer I'm going to answer the questions together. Yesterday was it on channels? The day before yesterday on channels, I was giving an example of how vulnerable and how easy, you understand, it is for fraudulent funds or process of crime can be laundered, you know, through real estate in connivance with the people that we call gatekeepers in money laundering. You understand what I'm saying? And how easy, you know, banks can also collude with anybody that can pay the fees and all of that to perpetrate this. If you read it through or you have been following the trend of news, you know, around the down the years, you will agree with me that the figure of $37.5 million have already been reported. It has to do with a former minister of petroleum resources. You know, the Bella Vista, you know, property that she bought, not a serving minister. You understand? And I was giving an example, and why we are talking about it, you know, freely with figures and this is because we have already gone to court. We have gone to court, secured an interim for future order, we published, nobody come forth, and we have gotten final for future order on that property. You understand? Including, you know, over $1.8 million in addition of the rent proceeds, you know, from the said this thing have all been forfeited to the federal government. And tied to your question, my brother from Tribune that says another 20 million. No, I was giving an example about how it was done. The first money that was deposited for the property was collected cash, and that was $20 million from the house. And I did say, even 2 days ago, that the monies were put in the bank and, you know, the property was paid for. And that was how, you know, they concluded, I mean, they succeeded in taking the money and paying in, and then, of course, until they paid the entire 37.5 million. So I was just giving an example, not that there is 37.5 million and there is 20 million. If you go back and watch the clip again, that was what I said. And I think in different forums we have reported this thing. You know, I was just trying to give an example because it's a classical example of what has happened and what we have gone to court with. So it is already in the public domain. Anybody can go and apply to the court to get the documents. So, and that is it. On the issue of the bank declaration, I did make this clarification time and time again. I did not say that the banks should declare their assets to us. No, we are not the competent authority that receives asset declaration from the banks. What I did say, which was here, outside these doors, some of you may be around, that come 1st of June 2021, we are going to be demanding for this declaration of asset forms. And we actually demanded for it. You know, we demanded that the MDs, the DMDs, and the executive directors of banks should oblige us with copies of their declared assets, you know, forms filled and submitted to the competent authority, which is the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, as provided for in the Bank Employees Declaration of Asset Act. This is an old act that I was 6 years old when the act was passed. It's an old law, you know, and we have our own reasons regarding why we say that they should furnish us with that. I have not received, what do you call it? I have not received update on who has submitted yet, because Tuesday happens to be my first day in office on my return from New York. So I think that answers that bridge news. On the issue of terrorism financing, of course, you are aware that the provision of our Act Section 15, you know, mandated us to, you know, investigate terrorist financing. And, you know, unlike money laundering, where the process of crime is illegal, you can have terrorist financing that is from illegal source as well as legal source. You understand? And you know the matters are so sensitive that one cannot be talking about what he has found or who is involved, etc., etc. And we are working with the relevant agencies in this regard. We are working hard on that, and we'll continue to do that, God willing. The VOA asks about whether I have seen or what I have seen as the problem with the procurement processes of government. You see, there is no law that is perfect. I'm not aware of any law that is perfect. Laws are made to be implemented and tested, and that is why laws are meant to be, bills will be sponsored for their amendment to strengthen them again and again and again. Just take a look at our Money Laundering Prohibition Act, for instance. You understand? From the decree in 1995, you have the Money Laundering Act 2003, you have the Money Laundering Act 2004, you have the 2007, you have the 2011, you have the 2012 amendment. As we speak with you now, there are bills in both houses of the National Assembly for the amendment of the money laundering. So there is no law that is perfect. Let me start with that. There are a lot of issues that we have seen. Some of the provisions were made in good faith. For instance, the provision of emergency contracts. You understand? And then CEOs are abusing that. Some agencies are notorious in the fact that everything is emergency, and all of that, so that they will not go through the rigorous process of tendering, publishing, people bidding, and all of that. So they'll go for this, they'll go for that. You understand? You have issues of this, so they will continue to be there. The only way where we maybe could tell this is, about talking to one another, knowing the ills. If there are some benefits that people are getting from these things, we will ensure that they did not succeed in, enjoying the process of crime that they have gotten. So there are a lot of issues there. I don't want to say much on this. You are saying that whether I have been worried regarding how my predecessors have left office. We in the inside have never seen it to be so, from the pioneer chairman all through to this. It's all, some of these issues, has to do with, maybe corruption fighting back in a way. You understand? And one will continue to do what he has to do. People will always talk. You understand? Whether you are doing the right thing or you are doing the wrong thing. As I speak with you now, there is a grand plan to tarnish my image that I have just done 100 days in office. And maybe they are going to use some of you. Some people have earmarked some money. They have engaged with some, media outlets, particularly the social media, to be, dropping lies and all of this against my personal person and against, the commission itself. They have gone around the entire country. They have gone through my accounts. They want to start that, and you are going to see very soon, maybe even today. So it's like that. It will continue to happen. It is not going to stop. It has not stopped. It is not going to stop with me. It will continue. You can imagine a situation whereby somebody is feeling that he has arrived. He has gotten money based on the opportunity that he has gotten. And then you are instrumental into collecting it all back, or in the process of collecting it back. You understand what I'm saying? You will continue to fight and fight dirty for this and that. Unfortunately, again, when you look at it, when you spread the map of the world, nobody is as religious as this country. Anyway, I think that answered that. Speedy trial of cases. Nigerians are not appreciating the fact that the prosecution of this type of cases that we are talking about, where before the establishment of the EFCC, zero. Have we investigated any former governor before and prosecuted him? No. So the laws were not being tested at all. And the law is a living thing. It continued to develop with case law, with being tested, with issues, etc., etc. Some of these issues we have succeeded in getting the Evidence Act amended, in having the Administration of Criminal Justice Act amended. It is all because of indirectly, and directly related to the work of the EFCC. You understand? But then, of course, the courts are there to interpret it. We'll continue to do that until when this in. But of issues of special court, in as much as we still have the same procedures and the Evidence Act, having a special court will succeed in giving you more number of judges, which of course will help. Because one of the problems that we have regarding the non-speedy trials is because of the high number of cases in the dockets of the judges. You have to pity them. A judge is handling 700 cases, 800 cases. How is he going to do case day-to-day trial as provided for in Adja? Practically impossible. You have 800. There is 365 days in a year. You understand? So special court will ease out this, but more importantly, I think, is the process and the procedure. You are presumed innocent until proven guilty. Of course, it's a fundamental human right that it has to. So I quite welcome the idea, but more importantly, I think, is working on the procedures and the ethical standard of lawyers handling this. My sister, the only lady that asked a question, talked about $69 billion dollars. Well, I think I read something about it. Are we doing anything on it? I read something about it, but on the face value of it, my sister, you can't have a 69 billion lying fallow somewhere just like that. It's practically impossible. Somebody somewhere must have talked long ago. But be it as it may, we will do something about it. But 69 billion is a huge amount of money. Huge amount of money. One, is it normal? Is it possible for it to be taken at once? Second thing is that if it is taken in tranches, from where, how? But we'll look at it, God willing. My friend from Tribune have answered your second question. Yes, the matter is not swept under the carpet. Then the first one that you asked is about the $43 million equity funds. We secured the final forfeiture of the funds. You understand? And the monies has been given to government. We are still investigating, the matter, because it was seen in an apartment. You understand? And there are a lot of things, around that. And then, of course, just like prosecution, investigation can take a very long time at times, for you to actually convince yourself that you have a watertight case. Remember, we go to the court to present our case, and the defense has the opportunity. So if we don't have a good case, we hardly go to the court, contrary to what some of the press is reporting regarding EFCC just rushing to court, etc., etc. My friend from Liberty asks about information taking and all of that. Look, to start with, EFCC is empowered to cause investigation without necessarily having a complaint. When it comes to our knowledge that a person's lifestyle is not commensurate with his source of income. You understand? Like now, after this press briefing, and then I'm looking at you, and I see you with Louis Vuitton and one designer wristwatch and the rest. I will ask Oga Femi to say, this Liberty man, are you sure he's a reporter? You understand? Nobody has complained, no? I will just, I can tactically ask, what do you call it, the chief of staff, please help me get his number. You know, then we can cause investigation. You understand? We read something on the pages of newspapers, like the 69 billion, you know, dollars. We cause investigation. You write to us a petition. We have a process in which we look at it. You understand? To vet it and ensure that it is in line with our mandate before we commence an investigation. Because we are a specialized agency. It's not every complaint that we'll investigate. Because if we are to do that, we'll just be overwhelmed with so many, you know, petty things that, you know, has no impactful, you know, bearing on the economy of the country, etc. So, if you come to us that you have an information, two things, two scenarios will be around you, particularly since, you know, the coming to the office of His Excellency President Muhammadu Buhari with the introduction of the whistleblower policy. We have hundreds of people that are giving us information. Some, they can tell any staff who he can, of course, he has to escalate it to the approving authority. But you are just giving it, you are a good citizen, you understand, you don't need anything. Fine. We'll work on it. We'll add value to your information and we investigate. We have our numbers out there. We have emails address out there. We have our social media platform, you know, are out there. And we have our, you know, media department 247, you know, on these platforms, trying to see what information we can get, and we are working on them. That is one. Two, you can come in to say that, look, I have very important information, and I want to report it as a whistleblower. Fine. We give you forms to fill. Because there is something at the end that you are expected to get, which is the 5%, or as the case may be, as per the whistleblower, you know, guidelines. So you have to, because by you feeling that also, you are also committing yourself. Because if that information turns out to be false, you understand, giving us false information is also an offense. We will come after you. You understand? So there are a lot of ways. If you write even anonymous complaint, Oga Liberty will look at it on the merit of it. You understand? And deal with it. There is no doubt about it. You understand? But by and large, since when I came on board, in addition to all of these that I've mentioned, we are working on an application that we hope Nigerians can download for free on what do you call it? Play Store and App Store, and then they can, you know, file in their information or their intelligence for us to act on. Very soon we are going to launch that app, and it will be good for all Nigerians to anonymously, wherever they are, you know, to be sending information to us. We only hope that the system will not be used and abused for people to be sending malicious, you know, something. Somebody can go to Oga Femi's village now and just take one house to say it belongs to Femi, you know, and all of that. So I think I've exhausted these questions. Yeah.
The last set.
Very much. These are actually different questions from the last, but very easy to answer than the last. My friend from Reuters asked that when she will be charged to, when Madam Dizani Alice Madwe will be charged to court. Once we have her available, we will charge her to court. You also asked about PNID. As you are aware, the PNID matter is being coordinated by the Office of the Attorney General of the Federation. But on our part, we investigated the companies. We have secured conviction of two of their officials. We have filed for extradition of their foreign officials, particularly from Ireland, and all their associated companies in Nigeria that we have seen. We are currently prosecuting 11. I think with the coming back of the strike of Jusun, we are also going to prosecute the remaining companies. We will commence the prosecution of the remaining companies. If you want the details of those that we are currently prosecuting, liaise with Mr. Osita. He will provide you with the details on that. So we are on it. We are determined to ensure that justice is done to Nigeria. There is no way we will just fold our arms and sit down and allow somebody somewhere to go and claim 9-point-something billion of our hard-earned money as a nation. We are determined to contribute, our quota to the bigger pie that is handling these issues. My friend from NAN asked that whether my intelligence department is aware of this 200 million. I don't know whether they have the information, but normally before things reach my table, information that they receive, they have to add value to it, to at least ask some preliminary things before it reach my office for approval or for assigning for investigation. So I cannot categorically tell you whether they have it or not, but whether they have it, I'm coming. I'm answering the question, sir. Go ahead, sir.
No, it's not only that case, sir. Most of the kidnappers now are using cash instead of buying property. Not only that, just settle that.
Okay. Now, actually, I'm not aware of this, that kidnappers are using cash to buy properties. But what I do know is that a lot of proceeds of crime are being laundered in real estate and with cash. Whether the proceeds of crime comes from terrorism, kidnapping, money laundering through public sector corruption or private sector corruption, they are using it to buy. One of the problems that we have identified has to do with activities of the Bureau de Change, for instance. Every week, the Central Bank of Nigeria is giving out close to about 100 million to about 5,000 BDCs. And we have identified some companies are out there in the hall where they will be buying your $10,000 that you are collecting to have it in bulk to sell, and then people are using this to carry. You can carry $1 million and go and buy, and people are willing to accept and also let go of their property. It's a huge problem that we need to address. You understand? So I know that, yes, that is why the problem is there. If it is through the financial institutions, yes, there can be records that are there to be seen. But it's cash. Maybe some of the issues there, they may not know that he's not even a kidnapper. Maybe he's just a front for one government official or for one banker there. You understand? Because if they know that he's a kidnapper, why can't they tell the police? But I assure you, and I want to talk to you later, please. I know that there is more to this, if you wouldn't mind. I'm very serious. It's a very serious thing. You understand? We need to talk. Maybe you'll be the first one that I will give my card. It's a very serious thing. Please give it to him. Call me personally so that your information will be secured. The gentleman from Deutsche Welle asked how difficult. Yes, how difficult is the job? You see, any job is very easy to do if you are following the extant laws, rules, and regulation guiding it. You come to the office in the morning, you will do your work with the fear of God, without fear or favor. That has always been my guiding principle. If I place my head on the pillow, 5 minutes, I have gone. You understand? I try to, as much as possible, at the risk of being immodest, to see that I'm doing my work, the way it should be done. In all the places that I have been, I have gone around the entire country doing this job. I have never stayed an hour per se in office trying to do any other thing rather than to develop my handing over and leave. I remember when I was posted out of Ibadan zonal office, we are on our way to Dubai with the then acting chairman on a Friday when the transfer came out. And we went for a week, we came back. I flew to Ibadan with the person that is taking over from me on a Sunday. You understand? By Sunday, we're at home. Within 5 hours, I have already packed my items at home, you know, ready for them to be moved to Port Harcourt. And then in the morning, we're in the office by 8. By 9:30, I'm already out of Ibadan. They have prepared the handing over note because I tried to, as much as possible, to ensure that our records are up to the task, and off I go. So in that perspective, you know, the only difficult thing is that 24 hours is too small for me. You understand? There is a lot of work. 24 hours is too small for me. You know, every day I try to be in the office by 8 o'clock. I have to be around again until 9 or thereabout in between. You know, I'm attending to you, I left like 50 files on my desk, which I hope to clear up today before I go. So in that regard, yes, it is. But in terms of maybe the way you are looking at it, threats do come in. You know, this person is this person is angry. You know, intrigues like this, you know, it's normal, it happens. And I believe that one cannot die if his time for this did not come, no matter what, no matter the conspiracy. You understand? No matter how it is being, you know, orchestrated. So we are not deterred. We are determined to do the job as we are being challenged to do, and because of the confidence that the government have on us. As I said, very soon you are going to see this campaign, you know, against my person. We will take it one at a time. There is a Hausa saying. You say what? Do I look jittery to you? Do I look apprehensive to you? The trade have been on. You know, we'll continue to do what we have to do. You know, my brother, is part of the hazard of the job, the burden of service, particularly our kind of service. You understand? Particularly our kind of service. I'm not aware of any chairman of EFCC that has not been threatened. Some have been shot at. Some have to leave the country. You understand? So we'll continue to do it without fear or favor. The facts are there. Our conscience is clear. We don't have any malice against anybody. We are doing this thing by the book, God willing. And God willing, you know, we are going to discharge our duties without fear or favor. Thank you very much. I don't know, the ghost workers from who? From Vanguard. You asked about the ghost workers. I don't have the current statistics, but thousands of ghost workers were identified. And it's something that we started very long time ago. We're even doing something on pension, you know, tied to this. I don't have the figures regarding the number of ghost workers that we have investigated and those that we have prosecuted. I think maybe you can discuss with Osita. He'll be able to give you that later. You also asked about governors that are under investigation. How about Vanguard now? We are under investigation, and we said that even though you have accused us, I can say wrongly, of media trial. You know, so how do you expect me now to say that this person is under investigation, this person is under investigation, when he is under investigation? Even if you come under Freedom of Information Act, Abi, because of sanctity of investigative processes, you know, we have a cover there, you know, to tell you that yes, this is it, but these are the provisions that have this. So it's in line with our renewed approach. It's not good that some of these things are out there in the press. The man from The Guardian says that whether I have written to the police, you know, regarding the threat. No, I've not written to the police, but I've spoken to the IG about it, and of course, I will write formally. Thank you for reminding me about it. And then the AIT, how do you access AIT? Yeah, how do I assess, the efforts of government anti-corruption, or the efforts? Now, if you look at the provision of ONCAC, for instance, talked about state parties should have, develop legislations or laws based on prevention, enforcement, and asset recovery. Now, look at prevention, for instance. What are the things that the government have put in place to prevent this thing from happening? These are intangible things. Yes, you may do it because of the opportunity given to you. Now you don't. I've mentioned to you in my during my earliest pages of presentation to you regarding government efforts of, just take a single treasury account where parastatals of government have thousands of accounts in commercial banks. They will be fixing the money, you understand, taking interest behind the scene, etc., etc. Government is not even aware of how much it has or when it is having it, etc., etc. Now, the TSA alone, the intangible thing that it has done for this country is by far, you understand, the biggest anti-corruption strategy since the return of democracy, among other issues. Very important. Very important. You are not reporting about it, but ask the finance people what it has done for this. Look at the integrated payroll and personal information system. Everybody is receiving money left, right, center. You remember the problems with the lecturers, for instance. You understand? But now, if you are a government employee, you have that unique IPPIS number. You can't go elsewhere and say that you want to do this. Ghost workers, thousands. I think as at the last count, over 20,000 ghost workers were identified as reported. Now you don't have all of that. You know your workforce, you know who they are, you know where they are. You understand? Irrespective of your own salary, scale, or what do they call it? Like this country's compass scale. Irrespective of it, you are on IPPIS. EFCC were on IPPIS. Huge development, huge things that they have done. The whistleblower policy. We couldn't have this $43 million, for instance. Yes, we could have Good Samaritan can give us information. But then there is that motivation now, to the fact that, look, let's go on and say this, we'll get something. It has brought tremendous success in the fight against corruption in this country. So assessing the government in this regard, you know that it is something that has never happened before. They have done well. Now talked about enforcement now. So many unprecedented things have happened. On us, the EFCC, as well as other related agencies. Recoveries have been made, prosecution have been intensified. There is no scratch cow policy on the government. It's part of the government agenda, anti-corruption itself. So assessing the government, my friend from AIT, in this regard, that the government can be said to have done extremely well. We have championed this anti-corruption drive. EFCC have been a model, for instance, to several, African countries are coming to us to learn from the model of EFCC, and they are taking back to their country. We have been training them. Even now, a West African country we are in communication with them. They want to come to the EFCC, for training. And we said, no, please, we are working on our academy until when we are done, before we do that. The president was was even given an award as an African champion of anti-corruption. Everybody knows that. So, by and large, you know, you can see that, look, there's tremendous success in this regard. Asset recovery. Asset recovery. From one individual alone, we recover 84 properties. You understand? Hundreds of millions of dollars, left, right, center. You understand? And what is it? So we are working hard. The government have tried. I think you are all convinced the way that I see that you have relaxed and that there is some chill in this, that you agree with me that the government have done extremely well in the fight against corruption. Are there room for improvement? Yes, like in every human endeavor. That is why I was telling you what I said in terms of the things that we do. We will finish our time in office, another person will come and build on this, and that is government, that is continuity. So my friend, government have done extremely well in the fight against corruption, and I stand to be challenged, even though I will not be here in the next few minutes. So you challenge Femi.
Bloomberg?
Yes, Bloomberg. She asked. Yes, we recovered it from Intels. Yes. They cancelled their pilotage contract. There are a lot of outstanding. You know, we have to come in and ensure that the recovery is being made, and they are cooperating with us 100%. Just some books that needs to be worked out, and we're on it. Yes. Any other question? No. This is my own now. Two more. Yes. Yes. And one. Yes. And one lady. Let me balance it. Okay. So only you. Okay. I'm very happy that you gave me this opportunity, sir, to say this. And Oga, I'm very happy for your question. You know why? I came with them here. I have my director public affairs here. I have the head of media and publicity, Osita Nwaja and Oga Wilson Wujare. Please, immediately after this conference, ensure that you have their number, all of you. You understand? Have their numbers. Reach out to them. You understand? If they did not give you, my office is free. Oga from NAN will give you my number. But I beg, I tell God beg you, as you are having my number, let me speak our language. I beg, don't send me Friday message. End of the year message. Please. A new month message. This thing. You understand? Just talk, precise on what you want. And yes. And I will also, yes, happy Sunday. And I will also like to also plead with you to, what do you call it, to bear with me if I did not return your call immediately, or if I did not return your message immediately. Even as at now, I have let me just give you exact figures. I have 3,815 messages that I have not responded to. What do? I cannot. I don't have the time. You understand? But I try to go through to see what it is, etc. I still have 1,702 WhatsApp messages, you know. So please bear with me, but I will try as much as possible to save your number and your agency, and of course, return back as at the time that I have issue. So please, Oga, they will, if they do not improve, let me know. Thank you. The gentleman from AFF asked about yes, estimate of monies, laundered through real estate, billions and billions of naira, billions of naira. Okay, let me give you an example. I just told you that $37.5 million was used in acquiring a property. $55 million was used in acquiring Avenue Towers in Lagos by Kola Aluko. So you need to actually sit down and determine what is this. And even here, we have to be very careful as well, because there is difference between purchase value of a property, which is just what I've given you, and then the current market value. Chances are that even the purchase value was inflated, because the man doesn't care. He's free to. My brother here from Nan says that, what do you call it? Kidnappers. A kidnapper used 200 million. You understand, to buy. So it is on daily occurrence. Why is it that, okay, market value of houses have not crashed in this country? They are going up. Estates are cropping up in Abuja, left, right, center. Every day. There are estates in this country that are sold out off plan. Off plan. Sold, paid for. So it's a huge problem that we need to work, with the media, to unearth this problem. On our part, we are rigorously going after that, after the real estate, particularly in areas like Abuja, Lagos, and Port Harcourt. That is an avenue that we have identified as area where they are hiding money. He asked the second one. What did he say? Seizure of a property is an act of investigation. When you identify a property and you seize it, you understand, it's different from when you have obtained an interim for future, and then of course, final for future of the property. So it will not be tidy for me to, tell you properties that we have seized, because it's still under that area of investigation. Thank you very much for your time. I am enjoying myself with you, but I hope opportunity will come again when we come back. That is, if I'm still alive after 1 year. Thank you very much. I have asked that they should give you a copy of this. I hope everybody is having a copy.
Yes. It will be distributed.
Okay, it will be distributed. Okay. All right then.
Thank you. At this point, my dear